Actually, I met Noel a few times, and I know of both of them. I don't think I've ever met Liam, but
is an Oasis reunion? Are you okay with that? Do you want that?
Fuck yeah. Why not? Yeah.
I know.
Cigarettes and alcohol. Seminal moment in rock history. I mean, they brought back something to music which, only they could have done in their inimitable style. And the electricity of them on stage. I never got to see them live, but I watched pretty much everything I ever could get my hands on.
You know what I got the lucky chance to do? I hosted, I was on MTV during that time when Oasis came. And
it was always so unpredictable, as rock and roll should be. Like, would they just walk off? Would someone just throw his guitar down? Would there just be a fist fight on stage?
Oh, he got angry at me once because I think that they didn't want to be introduced, but I said it anyways. Some bands just want to come up and show up and not be introduced, and I said, "Here's Oasis," and they were like, why the fuck did you do that? But I thought it was cool because sometimes an angry rock and roll star is kind of fun.
Yeah.
As long as they don't throw anything at me.
It can be a pretty sanitized world, and they behave very badly, and that's, if rock and roll stars can't do that, then we're all doomed to.
Liam and Noel are getting back together.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You are?
Are you kidding? Yes, I'm excited. Liam and Noel.
I mean, what other band could play 12 nights, 12 nights.
They're playing 12 nights?
Yeah,
well, on the first night of Oasis, my true love gave to me one Scotty Mills show.
Do you know any Oasis song?
Are you kidding? Wonderwall.
Oh, you know that one.
Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, I know that one.
Oh, boy. That's going to be played at my when I renew my vows with Emily Goldblum.
Fantastic.
We're playing that song over and over on a loop.
To play the piano at one of these gigs, how would you respond to that?
Play the piano with them?
Yes.
Are you kidding? I'd jump out of my skin. I'd be hopping about like a kangaroo of some kind. I'd jump right through that window. I'd be over the moon. I'd be floating on air. I'd say, Liam, no. Are you joshing me? You're not pulling my leg, are you?
Liam, Noel, you've got until next year to get that one sorted.
Oh, I'll be there whenever you want.
Oasis are back together. I think, from what I've determined, about half the country is probably queuing for tickets over the weekend. But it is depressing to hear of price hikes. I'm committed to putting fans at the heart of music and end extortionate price resales, and we're starting a consultation to work out how best we can do this.
I had no idea. I had no idea that they were back. Yeah. That's insane. Blur or Oasis, Catherine?
Oasis.
Oh.
What are you asking me?
Would I rather... the feud.
I love how you immediately went for that.
There's a feud. I don't partake in taking sides when there's a feud.
You just did. Write it down. She said Oasis,
I thought you were asking which band he was talking about.
No. Oh.
He's talking about Oasis.
Oh.
You've got to answer that yourself now, Jenna. No,
can I be honest? I actually just heard Wonderwall for the first time like a month ago. Like, actually sat down and listened to the whole thing. It was like a thing. I got like attacked about it for not knowing it by an ex. Like, had no... I listened to Blur. I haven't really gotten into Oasis.
So Blur, you would say, is your answer to that one?
Yeah, but again, I don't really have the history of Oasis and Oasis listening to really say.
I just remember their haircuts, the same kind of Roman look. Kind
of what look?
The Roman look.
That early George Clooney look.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what their hair do.
I thought you meant like Romans from like ancient
Roman
Romans.
Soldiers?
Yeah.
Crucify him. No.
British music is two brothers get together, they make one of the sickest bands ever, and then they just can't get along and they never get back together again. Oasis! How could I forget them? Today gonna be day, gonna fall back to you. I fucking love them. Boy, now should somehow realize I don't believe that anybody... You know, not only were they one of the great bands of all time, like those two fucking guys are arguably two of the best comedians that Britain ever produced. They're like, as a stand-up comic, to listen to their interviews, read them and watch them, it's annoying how fucking funny they are. Some of the shit that's come out of their mouths, it's like, Jesus Christ, that's fucking better than half the shit in my act right now. I do this for a living. This guy's just bored in an interview, spitting out gems.
I loved Oasis. For me, they also were just so much a part of that time. And one of my best oldest friends, Patsy Kensit, was married to Liam at the time. So we saw a lot of them. And it was amazing because, Patsy's a very old friend of mine. And she's like a sister. And when I was about to meet Liam for the first time, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought he'd be this insane, wild, Manchester man. And he was absolutely adorable. So they used to come to my mum and dad's little cottage in the country, and Liam would help with the washing up, and he was just adorable. They were adorable. And so that made me love Oasis even more. And I remember I used to go backstage on some of their gigs, again, thinking they could be wild and what's going on. And they'd all be sitting there doing the crossword and, in cardies and stuff. And they were just heaven. So anything by Oasis, again, transports me back to a decade which I loved, the 90s.
I was in Ireland one time. I was in Dublin. I went to this concert, and those guys were there. And we met and talked and hooked up and became friends, And then I was spending quite a lot of time in Europe and in London especially, and Noel asked me if I wanted to come play with him, and play on the record, so I did.
Those guys as scary as the media makes them out to be?
They're hilarious. Yeah. What's great about them is that they're just completely themselves. They're just honest and themselves, and they're not particularly concerned about what people think about them. I'd say there's something admirable about that.
You would have been aware of them. Were you a fan? Were they heroes of yours?
Huge. I'm not just saying it because he's here, but the fact that I'm on the sofa with Liam Gallagher is pretty huge. Wow. But honestly, they were huge.
We were everywhere, Jonathan, man.
not just Manchester. They were everywhere.
Yeah, but there were other bands. I was more of a Blur fan. A lot of us
were. Rubbing it in now.
I could tell by what you're wearing, mate.
And you tell us about the Noel.
Well, I don't have a dog in the fight with Taylor Swift. She seems like a very nice young lady. She's writing her songs and she's doing her thing. I just appreciate always Liam and Noel's particularly Noel's kind of bluntness, how they sort of go about stuff and the things that they say.
All right, Allie, do you have the quote?
I do. When he was asked about Swift's knack for songwriting, he fired back, "Who says that? Her parents?" And you'd think, okay, funny. Then he went on. They said, well, no, people say that. His response, whose people? Name those people. You're effing lying. She seems like a nice girl, which you just brought up. Seems like a nice girl, but no one has ever said those words, and you effing know it.
I love him so much.
That's so rock
But what I find funny is, the interviewer might have been just turning it in a direction that he wanted with not real information or facts, saying, that this is kind of the buzz going around. And I like that that's what he focused on. It was like a cite your sources argument. Right. Like if someone gave you statistics that felt a little inflated to get your point of view across.
So Vince,
it's incredible, this song. It put me the best of myself when I listen to this song.
It's
a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. We sung with the staff every time we go out, and always we sing this song all together. So we love it. And after I was lucky to meet Noel, and I like it. I like this song. I like it. And after what happened after in Manchester, with the Manchester Arena, and the day after, it's now is a song for the people. When that moment is in YouTube, and everybody's in silence, and one woman starts to sing the song, and everybody sing. That is a moment. A moment would be so touchable for my family, for myself.
Will you be in the queue?
Oasis? I don't know if we can go. We go absolutely. So it's a good news, I think, for the world music. So they are back. So it's fantastic for the 1,000 million fans they have around the world, especially here in England and UK. So yeah, really good.
Noel Gallagher of the band Oasis claims, and he said this in an interview, that he did your first lightsaber training with you. Is there any truth to that?
Well, it was Noel Gallagher's 30th birthday party, and he lived quite close to me in London, North London. And I was at his party, and then there was a lightsaber fight in his garden very early the next day in the morning. And but I don't remember too much instruction. I don't remember any lessons being given from Noel. You know what I mean? It was just more of a battle in the garden.
And who won the battle? Was there a winner?
I'd be surprised if either of us could remember that.
Even if the Gallagher brothers managed to get through all of those performance dates without a hitch, I don't exactly have high hopes for anything from this point in terms of like an album or like the band really getting back into the studio to smooth things over and write some new music together. Being able to get on stage with a bunch of other musicians who you have a lot of history with, maybe some rocky history with, and just kind of play the hits, being able to do that and being able to get into the studio again to write and create together, make new songs from scratch. Those are two completely different beasts, one of which I think is much more easy to thwart than the other. But look, I could be wrong because, again, at the end of the day, money does talk. And if the price tags for live performances for Oasis are as high as they are at this point, and that's enough to get the band back together, most likely a record label or two are going to be willing to pony up some pretty huge advances to potentially get the band back in the studio to make some new stuff as well. But most likely still, it's going to be the live shows at the end of the day that are going to be the most lucrative thing.
You be one for us.
Will I be?
Yeah, go on.
I'd love to be. I've always been a huge fan. You know, obviously there's a big Manchester divide with United and City, and there has been for many, many years. But when I used to play for England, I remember Noel being at one of the games, and I went up to him and shook his hand, and he kind of looked at me.
Then after.
Yeah. I've always been a fan of Oasis, obviously, and Noel in general. So of course I'll be in one of your videos.
Nice one. Right, we've got that on camera now.
Yeah, it's done. Okay.
Imagine if we were the people responsible for bringing them back together.
Oh, you'd
Imagine if we sat around and had some drinks with them and said, "Boys, come on."
You'd be a hero.
Really?
To a lot of people on the planet, yes. If you could reunite Oasis, holy fuck.
All right, if we're ever in Manchester, we're going to come look for you guys, bring you back together.
Yeah, because you know what's going to happen? Next thing they know, they're going to be 65, 70 years old going, fuck, I wish I had my brother here.
The day that their birds stop working is the day they'll get back together.
When their wieners give up?
Because then they're going to be like, okay, I got nothing left. I got to get my brother back.
They're going to be 70 years old going, fuck, I should have talked to him 25 years ago. This is stupid.
Okay, well, that's going to happen. Hope it does happen.
Later, I think that these guys, Noel and Liam, have it all figured out and they know what they want to do. That's my prediction.
I love that. I love that. You heard it here first from Chris Jericho. It would be, in the UK,
massive,
the biggest thing ever.
I was just saying, every 10 years, a band that you never thought would get back together does. It was the Police in 07, huge worldwide thing. Guns N' Roses in 17, huge worldwide thing. Oasis is next, 2025.
Yeah. If Fleetwood Mac could go on stage every night, after everything those guys have been through.
The guys and girls, yeah. So yeah, it's exciting, though. It's an exciting thought, because like you said, that would be a worldwide, earth-shaking event.
I think they could just sell out Wembley Stadium every night forever. I think people would just keep going back.
So Taylor Swift just did 7 shows at Wembley?
Something like that, yeah.
Oasis could do 20.
Oh, easy.
Like you said, Billy Joel did a residency at the Madison Square Garden once a month. Oasis could do a residency at Wembley Stadium.
Easy.
Noel definitely doesn't need the money.
No.
Okay? Because firstly, he's got a lot already. Secondly, at some point very, very soon, he'll be able to do the deal that Dylan has done and that everyone has done, where he sells the publishing rights, and he'll be able to sell them for $250 million. I mean,
I think it's 2025 that they're able to, aren't they? Isn't it somewhere like that?
It's really soon. Yeah.
When better to do the tour?
Well, I mean, there is some truth in that. So they don't need the money. Noel doesn't really need to lend Liam money. Noel's not sitting there thinking, yeah, listen, I've got 250 million coming, but poor Liam, our kid. I think the reason they're going back on tour genuinely is because they want to be back in the conversation. They had this incredible run in the 90s, an incredible run. I mean, they were so beyond huge. And there's 4 or 5 years of it when everyone wanted to see them, to be them, to meet them. They were every single thing they said was reported, and that doesn't happen anymore to them.
I went up to Liam Gallagher before the award show and I said, listen, Liam, Sacha Baron Cohen, used to do Borat, and I said, listen, I'm going to make a joke about you. Is that okay? And he said, yeah, no problem. You know, go on, do it. And I said, how are you? How's it going with your brother? Noel. He goes, I don't speak to him. So I'd totally forgotten about that. Anyway, I went on stage and I didn't get round to saying the joke. Cut to the after party later on. He's sitting next to Bono on a couch. And I go and sit next to Bono, and Liam Gallagher looks at me, and I've got my friend next to me, and he goes, and there's some rude words in this, pardon me.
Let's go for it.
But and he goes, you. He goes, who's the greatest living rock star? And so I'm sitting next to Bono and Liam Gallagher. So I don't know who to say, so I go, I don't know, Stevie Wonder? He goes, Stevie Wonder? He goes, Stevie Wonder is popular. He goes, syphilis is popular. What? And I go, well, actually, syphilis isn't that popular anymore. Yeah. And he goes, shut the up. Which was nice. Yeah. And then he goes, tell me, who's the greatest living rock star? And so, again, Bono, Liam Gallagher, I go, I don't know, Bono? Yeah. And he goes, no. Who's the greatest living rock star? I said, I honestly don't know. And he goes, John Lennon. And then my friend says, he goes, but John Lennon, you said living. He goes, John Lennon is alive. And he stood up and he goes, I am John Lennon. And then at that point, he falls over, hits his head on the table, looks up, and looks directly at me as if I'd pushed him over. Anyway, I whisper to Bono, I go, I think I should go now. And Bono says, stay right here. You're fine as long as you're next to me. That's the worst Bono impression ever.
Yeah.
And so Liam Gallagher comes back and goes, why the didn't you take the piss out of me tonight? I said, pardon me? He goes, why the didn't you say a joke about me tonight? You said you were going to say a joke. And I said, well, I just didn't get round to it. He goes, what do you mean you didn't get round to it? And then he goes, you know what? I'm going to stab you.
What?
And I thought,
I
said, what? I said, what? He goes, I'm going to stab you in the eye. And I thought to myself, wow, I've never heard such a specific threat beforehand. It's one thing to stab someone, but to have that's a good aim.
Yeah.
He didn't specify the eye. So he goes, why the didn't you say it? And I go, well, I never got round to, that bit of it. I go, so when you have a set list? He goes, I don't have a set list. I'm a rock star. I go, well, in my career, he goes, career? What career? Jesus. And I said, well, okay.
That's the least pleasant guy I've ever heard of.
I said, okay, not career, but my series of performances. And anyway, eventually he didn't stab me. So I thought I would avoid confrontation by having my hair done like him in the next...